Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm reacting to A Brief History of Vedas, Project Shovaham. 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 Anyways, um, this, I'll just leave it at that. Let's go ahead and get started. Brief History of the Vedas. CC's on.
Vedabhumi, the land of knowledge, that is one of the names of India, and for a very good reason. If we turn the hidden pages of the history, long before the Islamic invasions and the European colonization, India has been one of the very few civilizations which has a very advanced education system of that times. I'm not saying this. If we turn back the pages of the history before 1000 AD, that's before Mughal invasions and the European colonization began, travelers from Europe, Persia to China used to travel to India to obtain the knowledge as part of this Vedic culture. If you read the books written by Megasthenes, Al-Biruni or Hyun-Sang, you'll get to know how advanced Indian education system at that time was. The knowledge of ancient India. It is one of the most comprehensive and complex education systems in the world. In this short video, we try to compile how the ancient Indian education system looked like. The heritage of the ancient Indian education and value system as we know today has been largely preserved by the inscriptions on the temples, manuscripts, and verbally transmitted from a teacher to a student. These are the three main sources from which we have been preserving the Vedic education system till today. Now let's see what they are. For ease of understanding, we have put it this way. There are 6 broad categories of Indian scriptures which hold the entire knowledge system. They are Shruti, Smriti, Purana, Itihasam, Agamam, Siddhantam. And they cover a diverse set of fields of education like mathematics, physics, biology, philosophy, astronomy, health sciences, linguistics, and many other branches of science and technology besides the theological concepts.
I will say that's very interesting, considering that you think of all of these, well, I won't say all, but some of these that are seems to be modern, especially say health science, linguistics, science and technology, other branches of science. That's very weird to say science and technology, but then again, they did have technology back in the day. It's not what we consider modern day technology like computers and stuff, but nonetheless technology. But mathematics, of course, physics, that's interesting, biology, philosophy, astronomy. Now, astronomy is something that's always been in the past due to sailors and stuff. Being able to navigate the seas. Health science again, and linguistics. Interesting.
Starting with the first one, Shruti. Shruti is well known as the Vedas, and there are 4 of them. Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharvana Veda. Rig means praise, a form of expressing the gratitude. It explains about the various hymns praising the elements of nature and cosmos. And the second one is Yajurveda. Yajur means worship. It explains about different procedures of worship of the nature and cosmos. And the third one is Samaveda. Sama means song. It gives a music-driven canonical format to the other Vedas for ease of recitation. The fourth one is Atharvana Veda. Atharva means stable mind. It sets the rules for a steady state daily life activities that needs to be observed in a Vedic culture. All these 4 Vedas are not just like any other 4 ordinary books. You will not understand a word of it unless you are blessed with a guru who can explain to you what each of these mean, and they are highly interconnected with each other. Further down, if we look into any of these 4 Vedas, it has 4 fundamental blocks. Aranyaka, Brahmana, Samhita, Upanishad, supported by 6 external blocks: Siksha, Vyakarana, Chandas, Nirukta, Jyotisha, and Kalpa. We'll keep it very simple, not going into further details. The 4 internal blocks of Aranyaka, Brahmana, Samhita, and Upanishads, they describe the theosophical, philosophical, and physiological anatomy of the cosmos and the nature and the fundamentals of human existence.
Yeah, I was going to say, that looks quite complicated, and I remember Sadhguru talking about the many dimensions of the person, but he talks about the mind and the 4 dimensions of there, and then even within the 4 dimensions of the mind, there's like one of the dimensions has multiple dimensions. It's like, good Lord, it's so complicated. And I can see why it's very difficult to understand and takes a lot of time and a guru essentially to help you learn that. Although, definitely try to learn on your own and then get a guru's help. It's kind of like whenever you read up on news or a story, read it for yourself first, and then obviously then get some help and get some or other people's opinions about it. I know he says to a guru's help, but do whatever it takes to really learn, but especially with nowadays where everything is essentially accessible. But try, and then obviously no one lives next to a guru, at least not everywhere in the world. And read it and understand it as best you can, and hopefully watching videos online will help you understand a lot of the things. Although I will say it seems very, very extremely complicated, and probably going to a guru will be best, and more than likely pointing out very specific things that you're struggling with, because again, this looks like you need to go to a school to learn all of this.
In simple words, it describes Brahman, which means the ultimate and the supreme power of the existence. In the 6 external blocks, Siksha, Vyakarana, Chandas, Nirukta, Jyotisha and Kalpa, these are called as Vedangas. They complement the knowledge framework of Vedas with different and intricate specializations each. As you see here, Siksha is study of phonetics, Vyakarana is study of grammar, Chandas is study of linguistic rhythm and prosody, Nirukta is study of etymology, Jyotisha is study of astronomy, and Kalpa is study of rituals. All these 6 are called as Vedangas. And that's how the 4 Vedas are supported by the 6 Vedangas. And that is not all. Each of the 4 Vedas have 4 Upavedas as an offspring. Ayurveda, the study of life sciences, ascribing to Rig Veda; Gandharva Veda, study of music, art and dance, ascribing to Sama Veda; Dhanurveda, study of archery and warfare, ascribing to Yajur Veda; and Ardhashastra, study of business administration and political sciences, ascribing to Atharvana Veda. Now this...
Hold on. Veda.
Dhanurveda, study of archery and warfare, ascribing to Yajur Veda. And
okay, so why is it in the images, the center ones, the circle ones, they have all 4 of those in Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Yajur Veda, and the 4 Vedas. There's all of them in them, but yet he's it seems like he's saying that, I'm sorry, this Veda is for Rig Veda only, or at least just make it sound like that, and then this one is for Sama Veda. Then the one that's over the Nur Veda is for Yajur Veda. Let's see.
In Ardhashastra, study of business administration and political sciences, ascribing to Atharvana Veda.
Yeah. Yeah, why are all 4 of them in each of the Vedas, or are these specific ones in each of the 4 specific Vedas? It would make sense as well, I don't know. I wouldn't say it makes sense, but at least as far as my mind is understanding it, it's like life studies and medicines has nothing to do with the necessarily study of archery and warfare. So Rig Veda would be the study of that, of life science, and then the other one, warfare, would be for Yajur Veda. But within the circle, there's all 4 of them. So I can understand there being all 4 in each one, but perhaps a very specific method of warfare in terms of Rig Vedas, I don't know. Like the different kinds of schools of warfare, melee warfare, cavalry warfare, sea warfare, air warfare, or trench warfare, etc. That would make sense why maybe they specify if you're doing trench warfare, you need to do this one, or archery warfare, you do this one, So I'm gonna rewind that, sorry, but
ascribing to Rig Veda, Gandharva Veda, study of music. Each of the 4 Vedas have 4 Upavedas as an offspring. Ayurveda, the study of life sciences, ascribing to Rig Veda; Gandharva Veda, study of music, art and dance, ascribing to Sama Veda; Dhanurveda, study of archery and warfare, ascribing to Yajur Veda; and Ardhashastra, study of business administration and political sciences, ascribing to Atharvana Veda. Now this is the complete picture of what we call today in simple words as Vedas. And one of our prime objectives of this channel, Project Shivoham, is to bring forward this entire knowledge system in a simple format that everybody can understand. We already did a couple of documentaries on Dhanurvedam, Ayurvedam, Sanskrit and a lot more. And you can find them on our channel. And the next one is Smruti. Smruti is authored by the sages and saints who mastered Shruti, which is the Vedas, and brought in their experiences and revelations. It is much like a thesis that the sages on different branches of studies like theology, philosophy, science, etc. It completely subserves or ascribes to Shruti, which is the final authority. And there are 18 such Smrutis written by different rishis. And they are Atri, Vishnu, Harita, Aushanasi, Angirasa, Yama, Apastambha, Samavarta, Katyayana, Brihaspati, Parashara, Vyasa, Shankha, Likita, Daksha, Gautama, Shatatapa, and Vasishtha Smriti. And the next one is Puranam. In very simple words, Puranam is nothing but a historical document. Often Puranam is mistaken as a mythology, but the fact of the matter is it's a historical document that has a 10-dimensional feature. And the 10 are, the first one is Sarga, history of creation of cosmos. Second one is Visarga, history of creation of the worlds. Third, Vrupti, history of evolution of the life. Fourth, Raksha, history of sustenance of life. Fifth, Amtarani, history of the time scale and how the time used to be measured in the past. Sixth, Vamsa. Seventh, Vamsanucharita. Both explain about the history of the lineage and the history of the dynasties that ruled Bharat since times immemorial. Eighth, Samstha, history of the catastrophes, all the natural calamities that have occurred in the past. Ninth, Hetu, history of the prime causes of those catastrophes. And the last one is Apasarayaha, history of the Supreme Being or the different incarnations of God. And there are 18 such Puranas, all written by just one Rishi, Sri Vedavyasa. And the 18 are Markandeya Purana, Matsya Purana, Bhagavata, Bhavishya, Brahmanda, Brahma, Brahmavaivarta, Vishnu, Varaha, Vamana, Vayu, Agni, Narada, Padma, Linga, Garuda, Kurma, and Skanda Puranas. The amount of knowledge in these Puranas is just incredible. For instance, Agni Puranam explains about different varieties of martial arts. We did a short documentary on Dhanurvedam, extracting details from Agni Puranam and Dhanurveda Samhita. You can check out on our channel. The next one in line is Itihasa. Itihasa, the word spells as Itihasa, which means this is how it happened. Of all the scriptures, Itihasas are the one which shaped up the ethos of India as we know today. And there are only two Itihasas, Sri Ramayanam and Mahabharatam. These two scriptures are of the highest order which defined, directed and drove the human values in India since thousands of years. And Bhagavad Gita, which is the epitome of all the sacred scriptures, is an integral part of the grand epic of Mahabharatam. And the next one is Agamas. Agamas are treatises on theology, epistemology, and also describes the architectural principles of temple construction. Basically, they are the rule books of how a temple needs to be constructed and the rituals in the temple needs to be organized. All the magnificent grandeur of the Indian temples and the exquisite carvings that we have on the Indian temples. The source code of all that beauty is from Agamas. For instance, Shilpa Shastra, the branch of knowledge which deals with sculpting, is from Agamas. And there are 77 Shakti Agamas, 28 Shiva Agamas, and 108 Vishnu Agamas. So wide and so deep. And the last one we have Siddhantam. Siddhantam means principles, a set of principles in different fields of science and technology. This is the most interesting part of the scriptures. For instance, in astronomy itself we have 18 Siddhantas which talks about different details about planetary motions, geometrical principles, trigonometry, calculus, a lot more. In this category, we have a huge set of scriptures that are in the fields of science and technology. To name a few, Sushruta Samhita by Rishi Sushruta on surgery and medicine, Aryabhattiyam by Aryabhatta on astrophysics and astronomy, Ardhashastra by Chanakya on commerce and business administration, Panchasiddhanta by Varahamihira on treatise of astronomy, Rasendra Mangalam by Nagarjuna on the science of alchemy, and the list goes on and on.
I would say interesting, like surgeries. I mean, surgeries back in the day, or at least, again, what we know from at least American history, which is just during the Civil War, is just literally just amputation. And medicine was just, I mean, there were some known medicine, I'm sure, but I guess maybe it wasn't necessarily reliable. Astrophysics, business and administration, I can see that. Astrophysics, a treatise of astronomy, principles of yoga, I don't know what the bottom middle one is, science of alchemy, principles of atomic theory. Now that'd be an interesting one too, because I'm not exactly sure if it's talking about like the atoms, I suppose, and principles of calculus. Good lord, there's a lot. And I guess that kind of makes sense whenever, if I remember correctly, there was a school, or you could say a library of knowledge that was burnt down so long ago. Jesus. It's a
And
lot.
that is a very brief history about the Vedas and the other scriptures of ancient Indian education system. For ease of understanding, we tried to condense a lot, but it is so wide, deep, and complex all at the same time. And the backbone for this entire education system is Sanskritam. And if we don't have the competence of Sanskritam, all this knowledge system is good for nothing. Let me give you one example and you will understand it. Here is a slokam from Aryabhatiya, written by Aryabhatta. Yes, the same man whom we celebrate that he invented zero. In this slokam, he gave two scenarios. The first scenario is two bodies moving in opposite directions, and the second scenario is two bodies moving in same direction. He says that time elapsed for R and B to pass through or otherwise is equal to the distance by sum of their speeds. And in the other scenario, it is distance by difference of the speeds. In simple words, he gave the equation of speed is equal to distance by time. This equation of speed is equal to distance by time is the foundation for kinematics, a branch of physics, which is the heart and soul of everything that moves in this world. This equation is the foundation in the engineering of be it a car or a space shuttle. This equation is a revolutionary discovery. But if we don't know how to read Sanskritam, all this is good for nothing. According to the documented history, Galileo Galilei in the year 1638, he published a book called Two New Sciences. In this book, he first gave the formula of speed is equal to distance by time. Now don't start judging Galileo. All his work is original, and if you read this book, you'll get to know. He did not get inspired from Aryabhatta. But the fact of the matter is, something that was discovered by Aryabhatta in 510 CE had to be rediscovered by Galileo in the year 1638. In these 1000 years, the speed is equal to distance by time equation, which is written in Sanskritam, is locked up in Aryabhatiya. 1000 years. Imagine what could have been the impact if this was known earlier to the whole world.
I was going to say that if Galileo originally thought of that without any kind of influence, that's still pretty freaking amazing for someone to know that long ago. And were a lot of this knowledge just locked up somewhere? He was talking about it was locked up. Now, I don't know if he literally meant like no one could get access to it, or only a few people could get access to it, because then that would kind of slow down progression. But then at the same time, you know, your sciences has to kind of keep up, because you can think of all the possibilities in the world, but without the tools needed to create it, it's just going to be a theory until it's implemented. Well, actually, maybe you can do mathematical theory, or you can do something mathematically correct, but can't test it because, again, limitation of technology of the time. You can only imagine, you know. I think here's an idea. Everyone should know this, but not everyone. But no, people should know this. If you can create the next upgraded battery, you'll be rich, because lithium ion right now, there is like cadmium. A type of iron, another type of iron battery, but it's not quite as dense. It doesn't hold as much battery. So if you can be the next, I think the battery is going to be the next big thing to make whoever invents it really rich. So I don't know if there's information about how to, you know, create batteries, or wave generating energies and stuff, because that's going to be the push. You know, again, resources are very much limited, and if there's a way to generate energy without fossil fuels, that's more reliable than solar, wind, water, coal, or whatever it may be. But yeah, and I don't know if this knowledge was kept in that library or not, or is this like perhaps another backup library, or maybe another library entirely that doesn't quite have the volume of books. I can't remember what it's called, but I do remember the story about them burning it down because it contains so much knowledge. Now it's buried underneath so many layers of sand and soil.
All we know
dirt.
about Aryabhatta is he invented zero, but he has left us a wealth of information. Well, how many such equations and other scientific concepts are hidden in the Indian scriptures, which are written in Sanskritam, waiting to be decoded? Well, I'm not saying that all the great things in this world were invented or discovered by Indians, but all the great things that were done by Indians are not known to the world. And that's why we started Project Shivoham, to bring forward all these kinds of stories. And as always, thanks for watching.
Okay, and it's very much so. I mean, it's kind of like, I guess, the hieroglyphs. You know, I think there was being decoded some time ago, and I don't know if they decoded everything, but My gosh, if we can get some information from the past that they've already discovered just to use in the future, that'd be pretty great. Let me go back to read what he originally wrote. Divide the distance between the two bodies move in opposite direction by the sum of their speed. The distance between... Oh, I'm guessing this is translated. Okay. So, I don't know. Is this Sanskrit? He make it sound like it's a different language than Sanskrit. I'm not sure, unless... I don't know what the word is, what he was using. So video over with, by the way, if you want to go ahead and end it right here. I mean, it's pretty awesome, again, for people just to discover this kind of stuff in general. Because no one's really discovering... I mean, I guess discovery kind of has slowed down, but then again, technology has advanced. And perhaps it's just because technology's now catching up to what we've already discovered as a human race, but now it's kind of like, I think we're peak at both, maybe, to some degree, until we can discover something new. And again, I say batteries just because, you know, a lot of electric vehicles out there that are they're trying to convert to battery, and you know, having such a very heavy battery and potentially dangerous compact energy underneath your car, if you can find a way to make batteries safe and dense in terms of energy storage, you would be good. Every time it says, I forgot what the word he used, but he says Samsung.
The speed is equal to distance by time equation, which is written in Sanskritam.
Samskritam. That sounds weird. I kept saying Samsung every time he said that. So I don't know if Samskritam is... No, actually, that's not. Is that a different language then? I'm guessing, because Sanskrit, I assume, is in fact written language as well. Sanskritam, I don't know if those are the same or not. It's different from my ears, but I don't know if it's just a different word for Sanskrit. But yeah. Anyways, it's quite interesting, and it's very much complicated. This is something, again, I'm sure you could spend, well, I'm not sure, perhaps not a lifetime, but then again, you know, as brief as he went over it, that seems like maybe it might take a lifetime to even learn just this and not anything else. It's crazy the amount of knowledge that we have out there, especially trying to learn all of history, say all of physics, mathematics, biology, life in general. Yeah, you'll never learn everything. This is the reason why I don't judge people too harshly on like learning certain stuff. I'm usually, you know, understand people can't learn everything. Not everyone is exposed to everything. Weird tangent. Anyways, that's my reaction to a brief history of the Vedas. And good lord, I do not have enough time to read any of that. I will say Upanishads are very much promising, and the Bhagavad Gita, I definitely want to get into those. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.